Good morning, brand ambassadors. How are you? And as you know, my name is Kim Bohm, and I'm your Director of Campus Relations here with Packback. To start off, to share with you guys a little bit more about today and why today is so important, you're going to be learning a little bit more about what you're going to be doing, this fall and, this whole entire school year. So that being said, in order to confirm your attendance, because we will be creating teams after this week of training is over, you need to comment on the side in the Q&A application within Google Hangouts and comment your first and last name. That will confirm your attendance, and then you'll be good to go and have officially, attended this training. Throughout the time, you can also ask questions on the side of this, Q&A application within these Google Hangouts. So I definitely encourage you to ask questions throughout. So to get started, I'm gonna screen share my page with you, and then we're gonna get started looking at this presentation. So get this presentation open, and we're good to go. So first of all, as I said, welcome. To start off this webinar, we have a little training video to get you a glimpse into the office from me, Casey, Jess, and Mike. So let's play this sucker. Hey, Packback brand ambassadors, welcome to the 2015-2016 school year, and I'm so excited to have you on board. To start off, my name is Kim, and I'm your Director of Campus Relations for Packback. And the person who has been around the video for my time is professional setup. We can get back on it. Don't know how that happened. Of course. It's a nice space we got there, huh? Okay, so obviously that was not being my friend right now. So just so you guys know, um, if you guys can watch the rest of this video sort of later on, maybe I'll pop it on a little bit later to finish up with what Mike was saying. But otherwise, through this welcome video, you guys had the opportunity to learn more about myself, Casey, Jess, and Mike. And today in the agenda to follow, the first thing that you'll do as a reminder is if all of you guys can confirm your attendance by commenting on this Q&A on the side. I want each of you guys to add a comment of your first and last name, and that will confirm your attendance. I see a lot of people viewing this right now, so you know, in order to actually confirm your attendance though, you need to comment your first and last name. So please make sure that you do that. Otherwise, technically, in my eyes, you did not watch this and you're not ready to be an active ambassador. But anywho, the rest of the things you'll learn today is learn a little bit more about your role as a Packback brand ambassador this fall. You'll to meet the team and receive some important resources, learn your expectations, the process overview that you'll be following, and how your results will be tracked. So to introduce, the team and your resources, we have about 10 to 15 total, full-time workers here in the Packback team, and they are all here as a resource for you. Just as we expect that, you are doing things for us, we want to be there for you in case you guys need anything. That being said, in this link right here, you'll see a link for remote office hours where you can sign up to talk to anybody on the Packback team, whether it be someone in the sales team or engineering or data analytics, to kind of get a glimpse into what they're all working on. Obviously, myself, my name is Kim, and there's my email if you need anything. For any other immediate help that you may need, a great resource for you to email for help would be ambassadors@packback.co. Otherwise, the best resource that is going to be possible for you this upcoming school year will be your campus marketing manager, who will be the one leading our weekly meetings and making sure that you have your important resources and everything to get started. On top of that, you will work directly with one account executive on our Packback team. One of these account executives will be linked to your team, and you'll work with them throughout the semester. So the account executives that you could possibly be linked with is either Mark, Jesse, or Nick. And those are their email addresses if you need anything, from them. But otherwise, you'll have a chance to learn a little bit more about them when you're working with them, chatting with professors. Another great resource you guys should be utilizing is your teammates. So, the ambassadors that are on your campus team that are working to, make Packback make a difference on your campus. So definitely make sure that you're leaning on them for help and support and feedback. On top of that, these are the resources that you'll be using fairly often throughout your time as an ambassador. There's this overall Packback Brand Ambassador Program folder, and inside of that is the sales efforts folder, is what you guys will be really working on. So in here, in the sales efforts folder, you'll see some outreach or email templates that I'll talk about a little bit later on. All the training information that I talk about today will all be in this training folder. There's a couple other documents just based on what I'll be chatting about today, so make sure that you guys are looking at and saving this folder. Otherwise, as you are given a campus marketing manager and a team, your campus marketing manager will reach out to you to give you a team folder of things that are necessary for you to track your success week by week and make sure that you're up to speed with your team. The next thing that we'll be doing today is introducing your role in general for Packback Answers. So I'm going to go back to this and remind you guys again that I still don't have anybody writing to me to confirm, to confirm your attendance. I see that there are 7 viewers right now, but I don't see anybody, telling me that they're here. So once again, you must comment your first and last name in order to confirm that you're in today's webinar. So you'll do that by commenting on the Q&A right here. I think that's how it should show up on your end. But regardless, make sure that you're doing that. Anywho, what you guys will be doing this fall is pushing Packback Answers to professors on your campus. So to give you a little bit of view of what Packback Answers is, you guys can all open up that link, and I already have it loaded. But this is what Packback Answers is, and what professors will be using, and what professors will be getting their students to use. So Packback Answers, this is a Q&A discussion platform for students to use and professors to make their students use in order to increase their class engagement and participation. How it works is you'll get a study, or professors will get a study group, created around their class, and these are all the professors that we have on board right now that are going to be using Packback. So if you look through here, let's click on a random study group and go to it, and give you a kind of glimpse into what Packback Answers is. So here you'll see that this is a professor. He's asked, he's answered or posted a couple of resources, but otherwise there are questions that are posted from the professor that need answers. There you can see 17 answers. How do companies check the power of managers without resorting to micromanaging? And here, you'll see students providing answers. So how professors use this is to kind of outsource any sort of participation and class engagement points, and they'll offer points for students based on how many questions or answers that they're posting. So a couple features of Packback Answers, they'll all be highlighted in this document, which is also in your sales folder. However, to highlight some high-level features that Packback Answers offers to both professors and students alike that are using it are the following. So you will have the opportunity, or students will have the opportunity, to post questions and answers, obviously, on Packback Answers. Students can also upvote and downvote, which means, if an answer is particularly helpful, I can put a thumbs up right here to make sure that Ben Bradley's post is the top one that is featured. That way when other students come to this when they're studying, they can say, what is the best answer to this question? It's the one that's been upvoted. The answers can also be downvoted if they're incorrect. Students can also earn points and badges, which will be attributed to their user profiles that each student will have. They'll earn points depending on how many points a professor has weighed each question and answer, and that can help increase their class participation and engagement points. On top of that, for professors, we offer weekly reporting, so that way we can provide those points over to the professors so they can quickly insert them into their weekly grade books. So the next thing that I'm going to really go over with you guys today is our Packback sales process. So just a heads up, there's going to be a lot of links posted throughout this presentation. So it's up to you to make sure that you're clicking on them and learning more about them in depth later on. So I'm just really going to kind of skim over the top to give you a broader, level understanding of what you'll be doing. So this is our Packback sales process. Like I said, I already kind of introduced the Packback account executives to you, and you're going to be working right alongside them to follow the sales process to get professors on board registering their students on Packback Answers. So the first step of the sales process for anyone, whether it be an account executive or you, is to prospect your professors and create a wish list of the professors that you plan to reach out to this upcoming school year. So in order to prospect, you'll have to decide, what am I looking for when I'm, getting professors on board with Packback. There are two big criteria that we require for professors to be a good prospect for Packback Answers. These two things are that they must be using their textbook in the fall, and that they must be teaching a course this upcoming semester. So a lot of your efforts will be getting professors on board for the spring semester. So they must be teaching that semester. The step is to do outreach. There are two ways that you'll do outreach this school year, partly via email and partly in person, as you're going to be on campus with the opportunity to go around to your professors. You'll be doing just that. So I'll go over that a little bit later on. But your goal of every single piece of outreach that you're doing is to schedule a pitch phone call or a pitch in person between you and the professor to show the professor and introduce them Packback Answers. The pitches are meant to introduce all the features of Packback Answers, ask a few introductory questions to make sure that these professors are a solid lead for Packback Answers, and also to answer questions for professors and start telling them, how they can find value out of this product. Pitches can be completed in one of two ways as well. These can be completed in person, with you. After a while, as you get more and more confident with understanding the product of Packback Answers, you'll be able to, to complete these pitches in person. However, in the beginning, you will be having your pitches via a phone call between the professor, yourself, and the account executive that is assigned to your team. So for these pitches, as I mentioned, you'll be introducing Packback Answers, and the account executives already have a lot of background, obviously, doing this, so they'll get you guys started. After the pitch is a demo. So pitches lead to demos. If you learn one thing from today, which I hope you learn more than one thing, it's that pitches come before demos and the difference between the two. The goal of a pitch is to schedule a demo between the Packback account executive and your professor in order to provide a screen share of the solution of what Packback Answers is and allow professors to really see how the solution of Packback Answers will help their class. This demo, once you get this scheduled, this is the last step that you guys really play in this Packback sales process. As you guys are booking demos between the professor and the account executive, this is what you guys will be getting paid for. After the demo is completed, you'll get a check, and then the account executive will take that professor away to go there, that extra mile to make sure that they're delivering the sale and getting their professors registering their students for the new semester on Packback Answers. That being said, where this line is drawn, this is really where your work is over. Once a demo is completed, then the account executive takes it away, and you can work again on getting more professors on board to reach the stage, so that you guys can be getting paid per demo. So I'm gonna cover compensation a little bit later, but the next step is for you guys to watch a demo video of Packback Answers. This video is a demo video with our account executive here in the office, Jesse, and what he does is he kind of walks through what his normal screen share of Packback Answers with a professor would look like. He highlights all the features. He would, be asking questions if there was a real professor in on the call, but it's really just meant for you guys to learn a little bit more about the product and how it works. So that way, once you understand the product a little bit better, you'll be able to push it out, a lot better to professors. So that being said, since this video is a bit, long, and I don't want to, take too much time, that during this training I want to focus on other things. I will ask that after, you guys are done watching this training video, that you guys watch this demo from Jesse that he put together for you guys, so you'll learn a little bit more about Packback answers. So make sure that you're doing that later on. The next step is to cover your expectations and compensation. So I'm going to switch over to check and see how his attendance is coming in. So awesome. Okay, keep it up, and great job. I'm glad that you guys have all figured out how to make a post. If you guys have any other questions, I definitely recommend that you guys post them in here as well, as I'll be answering questions throughout. So I just want to make room on this to get room for some questions. So great job, guys. So these are your overall expectations as a brand ambassador this fall. Every single week, you will be having a meeting with your campus marketing manager that you will be provided after, this week of trainings is over. Once we assign you over to a team, you will get put together with your new teammates in a Facebook group and such, and your campus marketing manager will reach out to you to get you set up. From that, he or she will ask you for your, overall availability and work to get you started, in weekly meetings. You are required to attend a meeting every single week, and these will be done via conference call, phone call, conference calls. For each meeting, you'll have to come prepared with overall statistics that you brought in the week prior. So every week, you'll get tasks of outreach, whether they be in-person outreach or email outreach. You will have expectations to be completing week by week. If you're not completing these expectations, then you might as well not be there, in the first place. So your campus marketing manager will be the one that will be there to hold you accountable for your outreach and your overall attendance. But the attendance policy for the Packback Brand Ambassador program is highlighted in that Packback Brand Ambassador folder I talked about a little bit earlier. But you are allowed 3 unexcused absences throughout your time as a brand ambassador on the Packback team. You could use this for a reason as silly as stubbing your toe, to a reason as important as attending a family wedding or, being really sick. However, you only have 3 unexcused absences. So it's up to you to make sure that you're rationing them out and using them wisely. If no matter what, if you are going to be absent to one of your weekly meetings, you must let your campus marketing manager know ahead of time. And if you do that and work to reschedule that meeting as best you can within a few days, then in most instances, your campus marketing manager will not count that as an absence, and you'll have more to use later on. So just a heads up, make sure that you're rescheduling with your campus marketing manager if you are to miss a weekly meeting once they're scheduled, because it's up to you as an adult, as a college student, to make sure that you're fulfilling your expectations during this internship. But otherwise, like I said, you'll be given expectations of weekly outreach or statistics to hit, and you'll need to bring these stats to your meeting. For example, if you send out 20 emails, we want to know how many emails you sent out, how many responses you got, how many pitches you guys are getting set up, how many demos you're getting scheduled. From there, as you are completing your outreach, you are expected to do that within 2 days of your meeting. So if you get an email outreach task on Monday and you don't complete that until the following Sunday, the day before your next meeting, then you won't have any stats to bring in and you'll have nothing to talk about. So make sure that you're doing your outreach early and often to ensure that you're bringing these stats in. The next thing I'm going to cover is compensation. So if you guys want to open that document, you guys can, and it goes a little bit more about what you'll be earning this school year as a Packback Brand Ambassador. So the way that we compensate our ambassadors is at the end of every month, so around this time or a couple of days earlier than today, you would have gotten your first monthly check from Packback. You're sent every month via PayPal. So if you do not have a PayPal account, you will need to create one. And how that works is, information for how that works is actually highlighted in the compensation document. But otherwise, you link it directly with your bank account, you'll be good to go to get your, payments directly into your bank account. There will be 3 different tiers of payments that you can look forward to as a Packback brand ambassador this fall. Um, and I'm going to cover them right now. From the very beginning, as soon as you are joining on to the Packback team, you will earn $15 per successful demo that you bring in to the account executive that you're working with. So for every demo that is successful, what that means is a screen share has what actually happened, and your account executive needs to have put this needs to have given us I'm sorry, I'm trying to find words. Your Packback account executive will need to have confirmed that this demo actually happened. If for whatever reason, your professor doesn't call in, he forgets about it or something like that, it's not a successful demo. Maybe you got it set up correct, but it didn't actually happen. So you will only get paid for demos that actually happen. That being said, once a demo does happen, you'll get $15 per successful demo until you hit at least 5 demos completed. Once 5 demos have been completed that you brought in from your outreach on your campus, then you'll be promoted to be earning $20 per successful demo. So the better that you're doing, you'll be compensated accordingly. At the end of every semester, we will be rotating these teams in order to create 2 top President's Club teams. So if you open up, obviously, this President's Club document, you can learn more about this. But how it will work is at the end of every semester, we'll be putting or highlighting the brand ambassadors that have received the most demos as a result of their outreach. And they will be those that are at the top of our leaderboard, which will be something I'll talk about a little bit later. As you are hitting the top of this leaderboard and it's a new semester, these top ambassadors will become a member of this President's Club. In this President's Club, not only will they be promoted again to be earning $25 per successful demo, the most that you could possibly get paid per demo, you will also be attending weekly meetings with a campus marketing manager, and a founder will be hopping in on your weekly calls. Give you a little bit more of that one-on-one interaction and view into the Packback team. They want to be working with you guys to make sure that you guys know how much we value you guys as you guys are working better and better. So yeah, that is definitely something you should constantly be striving for, to be at the top of the leaderboard, to not only get that get you this extra payment, but also be working with the founders. On top of that, you open up this monthly contest. Every month, there will be a new contest that we'll be introducing in order to compensate or give bonuses to our brand ambassadors that are hitting at the top of the leaderboard at the end of every month. So if you guys can all have this open, that would be great. But so for the September contest, what this will entail is the top 3 ambassadors that are at the top of the leaderboard at the end of the month, which means if they're at the top of the leaderboard, that means they have the most demos that have been completed as a result of their outreach. Then those top 3 ambassadors will get a $100 bonus at the end of their semester. So, this doesn't only mean a bonus. Obviously, this is on top of their payments per demo. So a brand ambassador can look forward, obviously, to earning $15 to $25 per demo that they're getting booked. If you're only getting paid $15 per demo, even if you were to get 10 demos booked or something like that, it's $1,500 dollars, or I'm sorry, $150 right there. On top of that, you'd be earning this extra $100 if you were at the top of the leaderboard. It's $250 for 1 month of doing outreach to professors and building relationships with them. On top of that, we will also be offering a bonus for our top brand ambassadors that have the most students registered as a result of their demos completed. So as you're booking demos with professors, these professors are representative of students that they're going to be registering on the platform. That being said, the more students that are registered on our platform is the more students that we get to help, and the more that we get, obviously the more students we get to have registered on Packback Answers, which is what we're striving for. So that being said, not only should you be pushing month per month and day per day to get the most demos completed, on that leaderboard that we'll discuss later, but also you should be working to try to get professors that are representative of, many students, whether that means 2 huge lecture hall sections or 5 sections of 20 people classes, whatever. You should be striving to get as many students on board as possible through those professors. So that being said, we will be offering this monthly September contest to the top ambassador that has the most students registered as a result of their demos completed. This decision won't be announced until the start of the spring 2016 semester, because this is when those students will actually be registered on the platform. So I'm going to check to see if we have any questions so far. Okay, no, make sure that you guys are asking some questions if you have them. So the next step that we'll be covering today is really like the most important step, or the most important part of today's training. So if you guys can all open up this link, I'll be kind of hopping back and forth between tabs. So as I mentioned, what the Packback sales process is, this is what your overall process day to day will be in order to get professors on board and to push professors through that sales process. So this is the first step for you guys as a brand ambassador. Step 1 is to prospect or gather leads. And this is a step that I mentioned where you will be creating a wish list of professors to get them on board with Packback answers. Every single ambassador will be given a campus marketing manager, obviously, and your campus marketing manager will provide you with a spreadsheet that looks a little bit like this, with headings just as this. In this spreadsheet is where you will be placing all of the professors that you will be prospecting. So how will you find these professors that you plan to reach out to? What you'll do is you'll follow the same process as you would if you were registering for a class course on your campus. All of you guys should be familiar with this process of what it takes to choose new courses for the next school year, and choosing the best time of the week, and what time you're going to be having your classes every week by what professor. So for most cases, this information will be open throughout the school year for you to go in at any time and sign up, or at least look at your classes that are going on. So you'll follow this process that you would registering for class courses and find the professors that you plan to reach out to. You'll be going to a Mod Podge of different majors. However, you really want to structure your outreach. If maybe you want to start with professors in your major, obviously that's a great idea. And then later on, you can focus on those other majors, that are offered at your school. For some of you guys, this process will not be open, where you will not be able to openly see this registration information that maybe others can. In your case, you will need to do this prospecting on your own, where you will, you can still start with the professors you've already had in the past, and finding your information online to find all of this following information. So whenever you prospect a professor, you'll be expected to find the following per professor. You'll have to note the university name, the professor's first and last name, the professor's office phone number, or phone number that they says works best for you, for them, a professor email, the department code, expected enrollment, and course number. This is all the information that you will be expected to find per professor as you're prospecting. So you'll each be given a spreadsheet that you'll share with your team, and all of you guys will be responsible for putting all your professors that you plan to reach out to, whether it be via email or in person, on this spreadsheet. Your qualifications for professors that you have to reach out to, or that you should be reaching out to, are professors that are teaching in the spring semester, and professors that definitely use textbooks. If they do not use textbooks or they're not teaching in the spring semester, then they're not a good lead for you. One really important thing to make sure that you're doing, and your campus marketing managers will hold you accountable for this as well, is to make sure that if you are on the same team as another ambassador from your campus, that no one is reaching out to the same professor as to anyone else. All of you guys need to make sure that you have your own specific and unique lead, and you're not reaching out to anyone that anyone else is already reaching out to. So before you do any outreach, make sure to check the spreadsheet and do a quick Control F to make sure that the professor that you want to list and you want to prospect is not already noted in your spreadsheet. So that's step one. After you've gathered this wish list, you have all these professors organized in this spreadsheet. The next step that you have is to actually send outreach to them. So as I mentioned, outreach, in order to get them on board with a pitch, because the goal of every outreach is to schedule a pitch phone call, and your outreach can be completed in one of two ways. It could either be completed in person with you walking around campus and really piping into people's or different professors' office hours, or you can be doing email outreach in order to get these professors on board. You could even be, doing both. Maybe you start doing email outreach and you follow up with an in-person introduction where you say, hey, Dr. Smith, did you get my email I had sent to you last week? I'd really love to set up a pitch between, myself and you, or you probably wouldn't call it as that, a pitch, but let them know, hey, I want to introduce this new option of Packback answers that you can, use to increase your class participation and engagement in your courses. In this sales folder that I went over is where all these email templates can be found. So if you go to this outreach folder, you'll see that this is where your pitch scripts will lie, but also a folder of email templates. So you can see in various of these email templates, there's a lot of information in red. This means that these email templates will need to be personalized with your own information before you can officially send it out. So for example, one thing that you'll have to personalize before you get, send any outreach is, making sure that the email says, hi, my name is Kim Bohm. I am a brand ambassador here for Packback here at Illinois State University. I really want to talk to you more today about increasing your class participation and engagement, blah, 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 blah. So these email templates do need to be personalized. However, make sure that you are not personalizing this information within these templates. Save that to do on the side in your Gmail or what have you. It's really important to keep these templates standardized for all other ambassadors that will be using it. So make sure that you're not personalizing these emails within these Google Docs. So like I said, do not change templates in the Google Drive folder. One warning for you guys is to be aware that sometimes your university may have a rule of how you guys are using your school email address. That being said, sometimes they only want you to be using your email address for school purposes only and not for any other outside work. That being said, that's just a warning you guys should be watching out for. You may want to start off with using a Gmail or Yahoo or whatever. The next really important stage is that all of you guys are required to do is come prepared to this outreach with times that you would like to schedule a pitch for. Because the goal of this outreach is once again to schedule a pitch, whether it be completed on your own or completed with an account executive that you're working with. So you'll need to come prepared with a compiled availability of yourself and your account executive. You are choosing to be completing this pitch on a phone call with the account executive. So if you scroll over to this overview of the process, then it's with detail for detail of what you should be doing. But for these emails that you are personalizing, you need to personalize these emails with your own information, as well as times that you and your account executive would be available for your professor to choose from. So how that will work is over here on the side, there's a comment that shows all of the account executives that work with Packback and their Calendly and email information. All of you should be familiar with Calendly because you guys have, should have all had a Packback interview with a member of the Packback team, and we use Calendly to set those up. So this is what Calendly looks like. This is Mark's, the account executive's Calendly. And this is, what it looks like. So before you do any sort of outreach, you'll obviously need to know when you're scheduling, this pitch phone call for if you're completing it with the account executive. So say, the rest of this week, Thursday and Friday are the days that you're most available, and you want to check to see when Mark is available to make sure that you're only sending over times to your professor that both you and Mark would have open. So that being said, you'll go to Friday, and maybe all of these times that Mark is free, you're free as well. So you can say, okay, cool, Mark is open at these times because these are times that I have, to offer over. And you'll say, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to tell my professor that some of the times he has to choose from is between 9 to 9:30, 9 to 9:30 on Friday, or 11 to 11:30, um, 11 to 11:30. That I'm going to give them as an option to schedule this time for. Note that Calendly is already reflected in your own time zone, so that should already be taken care of for you. What you'll have to do is right before every single piece of outreach you do, you have to check his Calendly because these things, he gets booked up quick, especially for the most upcoming days. So that being said, right before you do any piece of outreach, take a quick look at his Calendly and adjust your times accordingly to make sure that you're giving the most up-to-date available options to your professor. But then from there, once you have your availability mixed with his to have a time where you guys are both available, you'll provide those over to your professor that you're reaching out to. That may mean that you provide it to your professor via an email if you're doing email outreach, or you'll have to have this availability written down on a piece of paper for any in-person outreach that you're doing. Overall, though, for all email outreach you're doing, you must CC your campus marketing manager in it to prove that you're actually sending these emails. And you'll put a note in these spreadsheets, in this spreadsheet that I mentioned where you prospect your professors. You'll put a note that's over here in a end column of any responses that you're collecting over from these professors. Maybe you get an out of office reply that the professor says that they're not coming back until next semester. You'll make that note of when they're coming back so that way next semester okay, I should follow back up with Professor Smith who is studying abroad. Or if a professor says no, then you'll make a note in that spreadsheet to say no, that the professor is not interested. So that way you do not, follow up again with them and reach out once they've already, told you that they're not interested in moving forward. Lastly, if a professor says yes, that they do want to schedule, a pitch phone call, you'll also make that note in your spreadsheet to make sure that you're, following up and keeping all of your leads organized and what stage that they're actually in. So yes, the goal of this outreach is to get a pitch scheduled. So far. No? Okay, cool. If any of this does not make sense, make sure you guys are asking questions. So the next step is to actually schedule a pitch with your professor. So once you've provided when both you and your account executive are both available for these pitches to be taking place, it's up to you to get this response from your professor of when will actually work, and then for you to go home or quick move over to Mark's Calendly tab and sign up for that. So say, from the time you gave over to your professor says 9 a.m., that works great. Please book me for 9 a.m. on Friday. You would then confirm this in Mark's Calendly so that he knows that this time is no longer available. And this is actually a step that you guys will follow in scheduling, this or completing this information in Calendly. So to go back a little bit, pitches can be completed between the professor and the brand ambassador in person, and that's you guys going at it at your own, being independent and confident, and that you can complete these pitches on your own. Pitches can also be completed via a phone call between yourself, the professor, and the account executive, where you will really introduce what Packback Answers is, and the account executive will take it away from there. Um, you will receive a response from your professor, whether it be via email outreach or in-person outreach, of times that are available that already match yours and your account executive's compiled availability. So as I mentioned, this is the steps that you'll follow. First of all, if you're choosing to complete the pitch by yourself, then you will mark this in your own calendar. It's important, though, that you start off your pitches completing them with an account executive from the Packback team to ensure that you kind of understand what a pitch entails and see it firsthand from an account executive professional. And then thereafter, you have the opportunity to, do these pitches by yourself. But you must complete at least one pitch with the account executive before you go at it on your own. If you are choosing to complete your pitch with the account executive, which you all should the first time around, this is how you will enter your information in the account executive Calendly. So you'll put your first and last name for here, so Kim Bohm, and I'm going to put in parentheses that I am a brand ambassador and that this is a pitch phone call. So that way once Mark gets on his calendar, he knows that he's ready to pitch the professor. And he knows that it's coming in from brand ambassador named Kim Bohm. I'm going to put my email address, put my phone number, and then from there, this is all my information. In title of books, this is where you will put your professor's information, and you will have to label it. So you'll put professor name. I'm going to reach out to Dr. Feeney from Boy Meets World. My professor's university. He goes to Packback University. Okay. He goes to Packback University. This way, the account executive knows that this is the information that he should be entering in and, understand where the professor goes to. So when he's talking to them, Mark can mention, hey, how are things at Packback University going? You'll also put the professor email so that we have it in our records, drfeeney@gmail.com. Professor phone number, whatever. You'll put in the professor's phone number that they said works best for them to be completing these pitches. You'll also put the professor's overall enrollment information. So based on my research, I found that Dr. Feeney teaches two 50-person lecturers, so he has about 100% enrollment. So this is how you will be completing this Calendly. You put your information for the top 3 lines and the professor's information for the bottom section. From there, now you can press schedule event, and then this will now show up on Mark's calendar that he has a pitch between myself and Dr. Feeney on 9 a.m. on a Friday morning. How this will work is, if you go to the next slide, this is the next steps to follow to actually schedule and complete these pitches that you are, completing with your with your account executive. So let's see, are there any questions yet? Okay. If you guys have any questions after the fact, you can feel free to reach out to me directly. So the next step is to actually complete these pitches that you are scheduling between the account executive and yourself, or if you're completing these pitches by yourself. That's the next step, is to actually complete the pitches. Just a reminder, you must complete one pitch with the account executive before doing one by yourself. So when you're completing a pitch with an account executive, how this will work is, you noted all of this information. This is your phone number, this is the professor's phone number, and he's ready to call you at 9 a.m. How it will work is Mark will call you about 5 minutes before the call is scheduled to take place, and he'll make sure that you kind of understand the rundown of what you can expect to be moving forward and how the pitch, will likely go. So the account executive will call you and your phone number that you've, mentioned on the time, and he will call you 5 minutes before. Once he's given you the rundown of kind of what to expect, then you're going to loop the professor in a 3-way call that's remind you of all those sleepovers you had in middle school. Once you guys have looped the professors in, then you will follow a script that is highlighted in this process overview. Well, you will start by introducing the professor. Um, you will start with introducing the professor to, your account executive. So in these pitches that you're completing with your account executive on the phone, you start off just like this. My name is Kim. I'm currently involved in a growing startup named Packback. I'm talking to you today because I think that I have a tool for you named Packback Answers that you'd really find valuable. I've looped Nick here. He's currently a member of the Packback team in charge of getting professors set up to increase their class participation and engagement to your Packback Answers. He handles all professor relationships and reporting of participation points for professors. From here, you as a brand ambassador will start off the call, since you were the one who brought in this professor, to start asking some discovery questions. So that way we understand if this professor is a good lead, and we can kind of get a taste for how this professor could use Packback Answers and how they currently teach their courses. So you'll ask, hey, do you currently use a textbook for your class? And if so, how do you use it? How do you currently track or grade for class participation? And do you use any outside resources beyond your textbook? This will really give the professor a chance to talk a little bit more about their class, to give the account executive a feel for what how this professor would potentially be using Packback Answers. From there, the account executive will really take it away. So thanks for sharing that with me. I'm going to hand you over to another member of the Packback team who's going to share a little bit more about Packback Answers. From there, your account executive will take it away to give the professor a rundown of what Packback Answers is and how they'll be using it, and to start making sure that they're getting over these objections that professors will probably be throwing their way. However, your job is basically your real responsibilities are over at this time. However, you are encouraged to give your opinions throughout. As a student, you offer a unique perspective because you understand how this could potentially be helping students, whereas maybe the professor will only be thinking about how it will be helping them. So for example, say you run into the instance where the account executive asks the professor, have you had any problems yet with any of your courses where students aren't able to, really ask you questions in class, or maybe they're afraid to raise their hands? So that maybe your professor would respond with saying, no, I've never really seen this problem, and I have a lot of office hours that I offer for students where if they have any other questions that they don't feel comfortable asking in class, they can ask me during those times. Maybe then as a student, that has maybe had that class in the past, or even have had other classes similar, you could say, with all due respect, professor, I think that there were definitely some times when I was, when I was in a class and I was not comfortable raising my hand in class because it was such a large class, and I couldn't reach out to the professor after class or during office hours because I had other classes that were scheduled during that time. That being said, if I ever did have any questions, I would have to resort to email, which in turn, there were times when my question wasn't answered on time, and I didn't understand a concept before going in on a quiz or a test or a homework assignment, and I lost those points. For me, this online platform would have really helped me out because I could have asked this question online, got it answered from my classmates. Not only would I get points for asking these questions, but I would be able to better understand these concepts moving forward. So it's definitely recommended that you add your opinions throughout, the calls. But otherwise, you'll be introducing the professor and the account executive at that time and asking these discovery questions in order to qualify the lead and make sure that they are a strong candidate, meaning that they are using their textbooks and such. And then the account executive will take it away. If you're completing a pitch on your own, then it's up to you to have that pitch script ready and go to the professor's office at the designated time that your professor has told you would work for you. Once again, you must complete a pitch with an account executive before doing it on your own. However, there may be instances where a professor maybe misses your call. Maybe the professor, said that they were available on Friday at 9 a.m. He totally forgets and he doesn't answer his call. In those instances, you will not be, you will not be counted for that pitch, and it's up to you to then go back and reschedule with the professor. At the end of every week, At the end of every week, we will be providing your campus marketing managers with a report of all of the calls, whether it be a demo or a pitch that did not happen. Maybe they didn't happen as a result of the professor not actually being interested overall after all. Or maybe the professor just missed the call and it's up to you to reschedule. In these cases, it is up to you to follow back up with the professor and get a new time on the board so that way you're that much closer to getting a demo booked and getting compensated for that. The overall goal of a pitch is, however, to be scheduling a follow-up demo. Remember, the demo is what comes after a pitch, and where the screen share of the solution of Packback answers will actually be taking place. If you're completing these pitches with an account executive, they'll be the ones to really push the demo. However, if you're doing a pitch by yourself, it's up to you to make sure that you're scheduling a demo. What you'll do is you'll say, hey, I can see that you're interested. I think you'd be a great candidate that finds great value in using Packback answers this upcoming semester. So I recommend that you schedule another phone call one-on-one with an account executive member of the Packback team who can answer more of your questions of what Packback Answers is and how it would benefit you. And also you will have the opportunity to get a screen share of what Packback Answers would look like for your class. That being said, like I said, your overall goal from a pitch is to schedule a demo phone call. You will set this up on the account executive Calendly the same exact way as you would before. The only difference is that, with Dr. Feeney, you already had a pitch. Now you're going to go back in and schedule a demo between the account executive and the professor. From here, the account executive or the professor may have already told you what time it was. You'll enter it into his Calendly, and you'll say schedule events. Now Mark would know that this, I already talked to Dr. Feeney once. I'm talking to Dr. Feeney again. This time it's an actual demo. That way when he sees this on his calendar, then he can get Dr. Feeney set up with a screen share and sending him the instructions for how to get that set up. So make sure that you're labeling, both of these things in their Calendly correctly. And a pitch is very different than a demo. A pitch is an introductory phone call, and the demo is a screen share of the solution, which only happens between the account executive and the professor. So from here, Mark now sees that he has a demo on his calendar, and he'll be able to call Professor Feeney at that time. He will call him and give him the screen share, which is what you guys are expected to watch this demo video with Jesse to understand kind of what a demo will look like. And he'll follow that same exact process to sell the professor on Packback Answers. From there, as soon as any demo is completed, that's when you will be getting paid. You will get paid per demo completed, whether you're getting paid $15, $20, or $25, depending on what tier of the program that you are currently in. So no matter what, if a demo was completed, whether the professor is actually interested after that, that's I guess not your problem. You've done your job up to then. So then it's then the account executive's job to make sure that your professor goes the rest of the way, goes the distance to get on board with Packback Answers. If any of these demos need to be rescheduled, as in the professor doesn't answer or what have you, then like I said, your CMM will receive a report of these as well at the end of every week to let you know, like, hey, I thought that I scheduled a demo with Dr. Feeney. Oh, well, he didn't answer at that time, so it's up to you to reschedule and get another demo on the board for Mark. So yeah, this is the process beginning to end. What I definitely recommend that each of you guys do is, after you guys are done, make sure that you guys are going through this PowerPoint in detail, watching all these videos and reading all this overview, and you'll be ready to get started. So we're almost through here, a couple more slides. The next stage, from here, we'll obviously track your results of doing this outreach. So at the end of every week, results will be compiled into this leaderboard. The results that we'll be compiling are results that we see at our end of demos that were actually completed successfully between between the account executive and the professor. As I mentioned, any demos that were not successfully completed, you will receive a report of these as well to reschedule and try to get these on the leaderboard for future times. However, at the end of every week, you will be ranked by the number of demos that have been completed by you as a result of your efforts, and then also overall progress of pitches and demos that are being scheduled. So this is kind of what the leaderboard will look like. Right now, we have 4 President's Club members that have already gotten started, and this is their ranking. So, they'll be ranked, what their team number is, what their ranking is, 1 to 4, and they will be divided out in ranks by pitches completed, demos booked, and overall demos completed. This is what is really going to be the determining factor of who's in the top of the leaderboard. However, if Sabrina and Kristen both have the amount of demos completed, they both were successfully able to get, one pitch turned into a demo that successfully happened with your account executive, then we will be using these extra criteria in order to see who's, in the lead in other areas. So Sabrina here has already gotten 3 pitches completed. So that's being said, these pitches will hopefully turn into demos. So next week, hopefully we'll see this turn into, 3 demos completed. But for now, we will be tracking week per week in your weekly campus marketing manager meetings with your team, how many pitches you guys are getting completed, and how many demos you're getting on the board. From there, however, you guys will be ranked 1 to 150, because that's how many ambassadors we'll be having, of the amount of demos you guys are successfully getting to be completed. So those are how we will determine who's at the top and the bottom of our leaderboard, which will determine who our winners are of these contests and who will be later added into this President's Club. So at the end of the semester, those that are ranked at the top will be added to this President's Club next semester, and they will be the ones who will be able to earn $25 per demo booked, as well as getting to have these weekly meetings with a founding member of the team. But yeah, so that being said, it's really important for you to constantly be pushing yourself to get on top of this leaderboard. If literally you have 1 week where you're behind, where you don't do your outreach you're supposed to do, then that really puts you behind or puts you at a disadvantage where other ambassadors can quickly get ahead of you. Over the summertime, we've had some ambassadors get started where they've literally gone from place 20 to second place in a matter of 1 or 2 weeks because they're hitting their outreach every single week and really pushing to make sure that they're earning these goals. So it's really easy to lose your spot in the leaderboard or to move from the bottom to the top. So make sure that you guys are pushing yourselves, and there's no reason why any of you guys can't be at the top of this leaderboard. Once again, we will only count for successfully completed demos, which means a screen share has actually occurred between your account executive and your professor. Anyone that was not actually completed, it is up to you to reschedule. Check to see if there's any questions left. No. So yeah, so next step is if you have not already done so, this screen that I keep kind of checking back on is a place for you to ask questions, but also, post your first and last name to confirm your attendance. If your attendance is not confirmed today, then and you do not attend another training, then in my eyes, you do not attend the training, and you will not be put onto a team with a campus marketing manager. So at the end of this week, teams will be formed if you're not already given a campus marketing manager, and you'll be given your teammates and such based on who has attended this week's training. If you attended this week's training and you realize that I don't think this is for me, I don't know if I have what it takes to do this, or you have any other questions or overall reservations, or even later questions after you do finish this demo video and after you do look through all this documentation, feel free to reach me with any questions or concerns that you may have. Along the way, you will be getting other videos from the account executives and members of the Packback team to teach you a little bit more of possible objections you could be running into to be prepared for, and other things that maybe might change, as your role changes. But overall, as I mentioned, any questions you have, reach out to me. But for Immediate questions, I definitely recommend that you reach out to ambassadors at packback.co. This is where you will get your questions answered way quicker, and you'll be able to be good to go with your outreach. However, once you're given your CMM, that's the first person you should go to for any questions that you may have. For future questions, if you ever have a question about scheduling or these calendars in general, you also have the email addresses of your account executive that I've noted in an earlier slide. So, make sure that you're utilizing all of these resources at your disposal. Um, so that's pretty much all I have for you today. Good luck with getting started, and I'm really excited to see all the great things you guys will be able to do. Reach in with any questions that you have. I know I sound like a broken record saying this, but you really want to make sure that you guys are successful when getting out there and you're following the instructions correctly. So for all of you guys that have confirmed your attendance, I will be sending you an email later today with everything you guys should be working on until you're given your campus marketing manager next week. So thank you for attending this training and thank you for being patient. I know it was a lot of talking at you, and I'm sorry if you had to listen to me talk for that long. But thank you, and I'm looking forward to get you started. So have a great rest of your week.